Hello guys, Alan here and welcome to my channel, Alan Architectural. So in this video we are going to be talking about how we can actually come off with our working drawings with this church design you see on my screen right here. So this is a church building I actually designed for my church. You can see right there with the name all stamped over there, Yakal House. That's the name of my church. So I think I designed this building for my church when I was in school, but I don't think my pastor is ever going to see this building. All right. This is just a secret building I actually modeled out when I was in school. So we are going to be using this building to actually come out with our working drawings inside of Revit 2025, and I'll be leaving a link in the link in description where you guys can click and head straight into my Google Drive, and you guys can download this exact file you can see on my screen, and then you follow along with everything we have to do in this series. All right, so I'm going to start off. So you can see in my 3D view, everything you see actually in this building was modeled out to the very core. All right, so you can see even the trusses in there, I modeled every single thing in there, and I have all my pellets also running through in there, and you can see the aluminium roof right there. All right, so this is the building. When I just scroll this down and then you guys look beneath it, you can see I have made all those footings in there. I was actually designing the foundation plan. All right, so you can see right there. So this is the building we have. This is the church design. This is the final building I have right here, and you guys can be able to access or download this file in my Google Drive. So just head straight into the link in description, just click right there, and then you're going to find a link right there, and then you need to head straight into my Google Drive, and then you guys can download the file. All right, so now make sure you guys sit back and follow along with every step in the way. It's going to be an advanced series right here. This particular series is going to be an advanced one. All right, I already have a series on a working drawing of a two-story building. We have a two-story building right there with three-bedroom house, a two-story building, three-bedroom house, which we used for our first ever working drawing series you can ever find on YouTube. All right, so this is the next series we have in here, and this time is about a church design. All right, so we are going to start off with our working drawing series. So without wasting much time, let's just get started. Now I believe you guys should by now have the file, so I'm going to get started now. So I'm going to head straight into my ground floor plan. So you can see right here I have my ground floor plan opened up. So if you have downloaded the file for my Google Drive, you could see that I've already cut out my sections. All right, if you are watching this video by now, I believe you should be able to know how to cut a section by now, because I previously taught that in the old working drawing series. All right, so you just have to click on this tool right here, and then you just cut your section in your drawing at any part that you want. Anywhere that you would want to show more detail, you'd practically have to cut your section over there. And one more thing I learned is that when you want to cut a section, if you have a staircase in your design, just make sure that one of your section lines goes through your staircase design. It's actually very helpful. It's going to give out more details on how you actually designed or modeled out your stairs. All right, so you can see my design right here. I didn't let any section go through my stair. I have a staircase right here. I didn't allow any section, or I didn't cut out any section to actually go through the staircase. All right, so with you guys, I believe you guys are going to do that, and actually just click on the section line right there, and then you just draw your section to cut through the staircase. But I'm not going to do that now. This is just a tutorial. I'm actually teaching you guys how you can perform that inside of Revit. So I'm not going to be doing that now. I'm going to leave that for you guys to actually do that. If you've already watched the previous series, you should understand what I'm talking about by now. So I'm going to hit on escape, and we are going to start off by actually placing our grid lines. All right, so we are going to start off by placing in our grid lines. So you can see I'm currently on the ground floor plan. So first of all, you have to get into your architecture tab. When you head straight into the architecture tab, you just have to go down all the way, and then you're going to find that boy right there. It's the grid lines. That's actually the grid lines, all right, with the grid heads. So you're going to see some sort of like something looking like the grid lines right there. The shortcut is GR on your keyboard, and then you just have access to that. So we are going to start off by designing that. So I'm going to start off this way. I'm going to pull my grid to about 40 meters right there, and then I'm going to pull this also to about that distance right there. Now I'm going to start off by calling this 1. And you notice when you place in a number in your grid head, in the bubble head right there, when you place in a figure right there, Revit is automatically going to follow through with the exact number you've placed in right there. So I've placed in 1 right there, so it means that the next grid I'm going to place in is going to be 2 automatically by Revit. All right, if I place in 4 and then I try placing in another grid line, Revit is going to read that the next grid as 5 because I've placed 4 right on top of it. All right, so let's just start creating in our grid line. So we're just going to click on that. Make sure you save your project. If you have downloaded the file, make sure you save your project. So just click right there. You're going to see some sort of like hyphenated line right there, so just make sure you click right there, and then you just drag that all the way to this end, and then we click that right there. So you see it's following through with actually the actual numbers in there. So we have 1, we have 2. The next grid line is going to be 3, so we are going to place in the next grid line right there, which is 3. My grid line is slanted, so I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to place in another one right there. There we go. So you noticed I placed in 3 and I deleted that. All right, so Revit is going to continue by 4, so we have to make sure we change this to 3, and then Revit is going to pick up from wherever we left off. So we placed in 3 right there, and you can see it's going to place in 4 right now, which is actually perfect. And then we're going to place in more grid lines in here. We have to place in more grid lines. So I guess you guys are following through by now with everything I'm doing in this video. So we are on the 5th grid line right there. You can see I've placed in my 5th grid line, and we have placed in our last and final grid line from right there to this end, and we have our last and final grid line in there. And let's just go in here. So with this portion right here, we're going to use that for our foundation. So I'm definitely going to need a grid line passing through this area right there. So I'm going to draw a line DL over there. I'm going to draw a line right there of about 200 millimeters right there. I'm going to pull that up right there. I'm going to delete this line. I'm just using it to aid the position of my grid line. So I'm going to draw that grid line right there, and then I'm going to lift this all the way up to somewhere around here, and it's perfect. I'm going to push this down. Just click on that bubble head right there. That looks like a ring, and then you drag that down. Just click and hold that, and then you pull that down. So you notice we ended on grid line 6, and then it's taking us to grid line 7 in here. We would have to change that, so I'm going to change that, and I'm going to place in the letter A in there, and then we are going to draw more grid lines. So just click on your grid lines right there, and we are going to draw this, and it's going to pick up from wherever we left off as grid line B, and then we move to grid line C right there. We move to grid line C, and then we get to grid line D, and our grid line E, and our grid line F, and our final grid line G is going to go in there. So these are our grid lines at the moment. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to lift this up a little bit, and you can see it's just an alphabet I placed in the bubble head. All right, in the previous series in our working drawings, I showed you guys how we can automatically generate the alphabet in that space right there. So we have that in there. I'm going to move this out a little bit. I want it to actually align with the grid bubble heads you see right there, and then I'm going to move my alphabet in there, which is perfect. Let me check the other side. Let me just move this to align exactly with the grid heads right there, and then I'm going to move my alphabet to fit into that space right there. So we are going to start dimensioning. You just have to make sure you click on your dimension tool right there, and with our first dimension, it's always the first grid to the last grid. So we are going to put that dimension in there, which is perfect. And then our next dimension is always the grid to grid. All right, just make sure you pick the grids to grids to grids to grid. All right, so this is the next grid right here, and then we have our final grid right here, which is perfect. So let's do that for the other sides as well. So it's always the grid to the last grid, and then with the next dimension that's going to be on the grid line is always the grids to grids to grids. All right, so we are going to push that all the way to somewhere around here, which is perfect. And I'm going to do the same thing for this side as well. Pull that down, and then I'm going to pick the grids to grids to grids to grids to grids to this final grid right here, and then I'm going to drop that. Let me lift it up a little bit. It's perfect. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit. This is also perfect. Let me just move this also, come down a little bit. It looks like it's closing in with the first dimension, which is too close. Let me just move this also down a little bit. So it depends on whatever you want. All right, you guys might want it to be a little bit spacious from the other dimension, so you can just move it down a little bit. So I'm going to pick this side as well. So it's just the first grid to the last grid, and then we just pick the grids to grids to grids to grids to grids, and then we're going to drop this somewhere around here. So this is perfect. And with our next dimension, I explained in the previous working drawing series, we are just going to pick the openings of that face. All right, so everything facing this direction, all right, everything facing this direction on the wall is what we are going to pick the dimension onto our grid face right here. So we are going to click on the surface of the wall right there. So make sure wall faces is selected. This is perfect. And individual references. So I'm going to select that from that wall face. We have a window right there, so I'm going to click on the end, and then also the other end right there, and we don't have anything else apart from when we get in here. When we get somewhere in here, we have a window right here. Okay, this is right here is perfect. We have that in here, and then the end of that window, and then you make sure you click on the surface of that wall right there, and then you can drag that onto that end right there. So what we are going to do now is, you notice our dimensions are kind of like clamped into each other, which is very not visible. So we'd want to create some sort of like spacing in that dimension right there. So you just click on that, you're going to see some sort of like a dot in there. So you just hold that dot, and then you move that dimension up a little bit, so we can actually tell this 285 is for the face of the wall to the end of that feet of that window right there, which is perfect. And then our window width is 1 meters, which is 1000 millimeters, which is also very perfect. So I'm going to pick the next dimension right here. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to move this up a little bit. Let me just bring it down here a little bit. This is also perfect. So we have the width of our window, which is this window right here, which is a meter, which is just 1000 millimeters, and then from there to the end right there we have 28620, which is perfect. So now we have to do the same thing for these faces, and also for this face as well, and then this face as well. So I'm going to start with this face. So first of all, I just have to click on my dimension tool right there, and then just click on that wall face, and then pick that end right there, and then we pick this end. So we don't have anything here, we can actually skip, come all the way here. Here we just have a wall in here, so I can click right there to end that wall right there, which is perfect. And then we can click on this door opening right there, 750, and just click right here to get the door openings. All right, it's just the openings on the wall faces. So I'm going to click right here as well, and then I'm also going to click right here, and then I'm going to click right here, and also click right here as well, which is perfect. And then we're going to click right here, and also click just right here, and finally click right here, which is perfect. So we have all those dimensions in there, and I'm going to drop those dimensions right in here, which is perfect. Escape on my keyboard. Now I have to do the dimensions for this side as well, and then also do the dimensions for this side as well. So I'm going to be doing that now. So just click on your dimension tool right there, and then we're going to start off. Where should we start? Let's start right here. So we're going to click right here and pick the openings right there, and then we have our wall face, and then we have that window opening, which is also a meter, and then we have 215 in there, and which is also a meter, and we have just that wall opening. All right, so let me just hit on escape and do that again. So just hit on the dimension tool, and then we're going to pick that openings again. We are going to click right here, and then we're going to click right here and just pick the openings right there. So 215, and we have that in there, and then we get straight into this opening right here, meter, and then we just pick this and pick this. So now we'd have to come all the way to this door opening right here because it's facing outside. You can see it right there. So we have to pick that opening, the dimensions in there, and this opening, and then we pick this right here, and we can pick this wall face right here, and then we can just come and finally pick the wall face on this edge right here, and then we can put that dimension on top over there, which is perfect. All right, so we can pick this and actually come and pick the wall face over here as well, which is just 3.4 meters, which is just 3.4 meters. So we are going to do that for the other side as well. Now let me just clear some dimensions in here. They seem to be clustering along with each other, so we are going to just move some of the dimensions up a little bit. We are just moving some of them up a little bit, which is perfect. So I'm going to be doing the next dimension for this space, the other side as well. So we are just going to click right here, and then just click right there, and we have a door opening. We just have to make sure we get all our openings. All right, a window is right there, 2.1. So we are going to pick that edge, and then just pick right here, and then here. So I hope you guys get what I'm doing right now. I'm just picking the openings on that wall face over there. So we're just going to click right there, and we're out. We just have to make sure we get this door opening. I want us to get our openings. All right, we have a huge window over there. Okay, let's just get that, and then we get this one, and we get this, and then we get this one, and we get this, and then we get this as well. And let's click right here. And then we drop that in here. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Click right here, and then move this up a little bit. Cancel. And I think we are cool with everything in there. Let me just move this up a little bit in there so it doesn't conflict with the 1080. So this is perfect. We are good to go. So we are going to head straight into our first floor plan and actually do the same exercise we did on our ground floor plan here on our first floor plan. So I'm going to head straight into the first floor plan, and we're going to do the same exercise we did in the ground floor plan also in there. So I'm just going to move this to somewhere around in here. This is perfect. My letters, I need to move them into their section heads. So this is section AA. All right, we have our section BB right here. I'm going to move this, and also going to move that a little. I'm just making sure it fits in that space right there, which is quite perfect. And then I'm going to click on my dimension tool right there, and then we are going to start with that same exercise. The first grid, the last grid. All right, it's always the first grid to the last grid. So just make sure you pick that and place that in there, and then we're going to pick the grids to grids to grids to grids. So we're going to pick that grid to grid right there, and then we're going to drop that somewhere around here, and then we're going to pick that grid to grid to grid to this grid, and then to this grid, and also to this grid, and we're going to drop that somewhere here. Picking this grid, and this grid, one here, we are going to drop that somewhere here. It's perfect. It's quite spacious and very readable. So we are going to pick the first grid to the last grid. We are going to drop it somewhere here, and then just pick along with all the grids, like what I'm doing in here, which is perfect. We have that in there, and now we just need to pick our openings. All right, so with this we don't have any openings, so we'll just pick the entire wall to the other wall. All right, and we are going to drop it in there, in that space right there. It's perfect. So with this we would have to pick in here, and then we come here and we pick, nope, let's just pick that wall right there, and then just pick right here, and we come in here and we pick this, and then we pick here as well. What's happening to my individual references? Okay, I think it's picking from a window below there, so we are going to continue. We're just going to pick those openings right there, and then we just pick this, and then we pick in here, and then we pick right there, and we come all the way to this wall, and then we're going to pick the openings of those windows right there. So we're going to pick right here as well, and then we just pick right here, and then we can pick right here also as well, and also here. It's perfect. And then we pick this wall face right there, and then we have a window here, so we just have to make sure we pick that opening right there, and then this opening as well, and then finally the wall face right there, and then we drag that all the way down to somewhere around here. Now we need to make sure we kind of like create some spacious gaps between all of them. So I'm going to lift some of them up a little bit. So I'm going to move this up a little bit and click right there, and then just move this up a little bit, and here we are going to move this up, and then I'm going to move this also up. Oh, all right, so this is quite perfect. We have that in there for this space as well. We are going to do that for the next, we are going to work on the next space. So we are going to click right there and just get our openings ready. On this opening, pick on this opening, so you can see right there, I'm just picking up the openings over there to the face of the end of that wall right there. You make sure it's always at the face there, and I'm going to drop that somewhere around here. Now I'm going to make sure some of them are quite readable, some doesn't interfere. We are going to move this up a little bit. This is perfect, and I'm going to move this up a little bit, and also move this up a little bit. It's also perfect. There we go. So now we need to do the same thing for this area as well. So just click on our dimension tool right there, and we're going to start off by clicking right here. Need to come all the way here, and then here, and here. We don't have any opening on that edge right there, so we are moving this all the way somewhere around here. All right, so we are done with our first floor plan. We need to move on to the roof. So I'm heading straight into the roof. Now you can see with this roof, I've actually modeled out the roof, and I just cut some portions out to actually show the trusses inside there. You can see I have all my trusses modeled out inside there, so you can see it's showing on the roof plan in there. I guess you guys have the same file I'm having right now, so I'm going to be dimensioning everything we have on the roof right now. So I'm going to pick the first, as always, the grid to the final grid, and then we have our grids, and no, this didn't pick the grid. It's actually an interference from the roof trusses. All right, so just pick right there, pick right there, pick right there. Make sure it's kind of like selecting it before you pick, because it's going to interfere with some minor stuff on the roof trusses. So we are good to go. Let's just do for this portion as well. So it's always, the next one is always grades to grades to grades to this grade and also to this grade, and then we drop that somewhere here, and then we do this as well, first grade to grade, and then we pick this and pick this and pick this, and we have to pick somewhere here as well. There we go, and pick this one, and then we pick this and we drop it somewhere around here. Let's do the same thing for this edge as well. So we pick this and then we drop this somewhere here, and then we just pick all the way here. Now with the final one, we need to pick from the first end to the last end of the roof right there. When it gets to the roof, it's always the first end to the last end, and then now you're going to pick the spaces that they did change. All right, now you have to pick from the edges that they do change. All right, they do change their design, so right there, and then to the end also as well. We are going to drop that dimension somewhere here. This is perfect. So it means that from here to where it actually bends is 4504. All right, so it's always the first end right there to the last end also right here. We are going to drop that somewhere here, and when you drop that there, we are going to pick from here the end to the end right here, and also to this end right there, and we'll drop that somewhere in here. Now the next part is going to be from here to the last end, which is also here as well, and then you move that also somewhere here. It's perfect. We're going to pick from here, and then we pick here, and then we're going to pick here, and then just pick right here as well, and we're going to drop that somewhere here, and we're going to do that same thing for the next part to this end, and they can actually use the same dimension. Okay, so escape out of the way, so just click right there, and then we just come all the way in here. Now they can actually use the same dimension of this side to actually perform that, so I'm not going to dimension that portion. You guys understand why, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So now we are going to move on to, I'm going to head straight onto the ground floor plan, where I'm going to be dimensioning my internal spaces. All right, we'll have to make sure we dimension every single thing we have over there in the auditorium, in the main auditorium, and even in the conference room, the children's service room area. We have a bookshop also. We have the veranda instruments area. We are going to dimension every single thing in there. So I'm going to head on my dimension 2. I'm going to change that to my own style too. I think I kind of like designed a dimension which is going to fit in there. It's red, so we make sure we are dimensioning everything in there. Now when you pick the wall, you make sure you pick the other side of the wall. Make sure your dimensions are also aligned with each other. It's all in a straight line. All right, make sure it's always all in a straight line. All right, it's always in a straight line. So we have that 200 right there, and I'm going to end it somewhere here. I'm going to end that somewhere here as well. Let me just leave it somewhere here. I picked from that. All right, just pick it right there. End it somewhere here. and I'm going to delete that dimension right there. I'm going to delete that DE, and I'm going to do that again. So just pick the wall, so just pick the surface of that wall right there, and then we're going to pick right here as well, and then pick the wall inside right there, pick right here, then we are dropping that dimension in there, and we are going to do the same thing this way. Just pick right there, and then we pick right here, pick the wall width, and then we are also going to pick that way, and then pick this way, and then we drop this all the way down right here and drop it in there. So we have those dimensions also in there as well, and we're going to start to pick from here. We're going to try to dimension this piece. All right, so pick right here and pick right here, and then we pick right here and also pick right there, and then we drop that dimension in there, which is perfect. We've dropped that dimension in there. So we are going to dimension this way as well, so we are going to do that now. So I'm going to pick right here the main auditorium, and to the other end, and also this end as well, to where I have the veranda. All right, it's 3 meters. So I'm going to pick right here, and then also to where I have the veranda, also 3 meters. It's also perfect. We have that. So I'm going to dimension this area as well. I'm going to start from the end also right there, and just pick the wall in there. Just pick right there, and just pick in between those walls, and then we can bring this down to this end right there, and then we can pick in between that wall as well, and then we drop it on the floor edge right there. It's perfect. We can drop that in there, and then now I think we have to dimension this side as well, so we can just click right there, click right here, and in between that wall, and we can drop this also here. So this dimension is also the same dimension as what we have in here as well. So we need to also do the same dimensioning on this side as well. So we can click right here, and then we can just click right here and also click right here, and then we move this all the way here, click right there, click right there. So you notice our wall width is 200. We have 200 for our wall width. We can click right there, and then click also right here, and we can drop this here somewhere. Is fine. With the main auditorium, I think we have to just click right there. We can just click somewhere around here. Yes, so I think we need to dimension our foyer. So let's just move this foyer somewhere around here, and we can dimension that by clicking right here, and then we move all the way here, and we can put that dimension here. So we can now go ahead and also click somewhere around here, and let's just make sure we kind of like have some dimension for to the end of that stair right there. We have a dimension for our auditorium. All right, so we've kind of like dimensioned basically the stuff we need to dimension now in our auditorium. So I'm going to head straight onto my first floor plan. I'm going to head straight onto the first floor plan, where we are going to be dimensioning there as well the internal spaces. All right, so we're going to click right here and click right there, click right here, and I'm going to move that to somewhere. I'm just going to drop it right there, and let me just get the dimension for this piece, and then I'm going to leave that also in there as well. So I'm going to click right here and also send that all the way somewhere around here. This is perfect. We have that in there. Let me just dimension the storage room we have in there, the storage room. So I've also dimensioned that out. Let me just pick out the space we have also in there, which is perfect. And with our gallery, I think we can move this somewhere around here. We can move this somewhere around here. This is fine. It's fine. We have a void in here which is very huge. So let's just pick the space from this space to this end right here. Let's see what we have. It's the same as the 10400 we have in there. So this is perfect. So we've now dealt with our internal dimensions in the space right there. We've dealt with that, and we've actually modeled out, we've done our dimensions also on our grid lines, and we've done the internal dimensions also on the first floor plan. So I think we are good now. Let me head straight into the first floor, the roof plan actually. So let me just kind of like dimension some stuff from here to the roof. We have 7.4. Let me just do that for this side as well. Leave that somewhere around there, and then I can just pick that edge to that edge right there, and let me just do that for this side as well. Perfect. So I think we are done with our roof plan and our ground floor plan, the first floor plan. Let me head into the 3D view. So we are going to end here, and we are going to continue in the next episode. In the next episode, we are going to talk about sections, and we are going to deal with a little bit of stuff in our working drawing series. So I hope you guys have been able to practice along with the file you have downloaded. I hope you guys have been able to practice along with the working drawings. If you are finding any challenges, make sure you just pause the video and then you follow along, and then you can just play the video and just make sure you are on track and you are following perfectly along. So we are going to continue in our next episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing out more tutorials like this, and I'll be dropping lots of files for you guys so we can practice along. If you have any comments or anything you want us to do, make sure you drop it in the comment section, and I'll do well to respond to every single one of you guys. It's been fun learning and studying with you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out. I'm still working real hard on a Saturday. A future I don't see from a mile away.